Hi Leo, thank you so much for watching my video. I'm so excited to be doing this this month. I always love watching these videos online myself. There are so many talented readers out there and it's just so much fun. So I decided, because I love reading cards as well, that I would do my own set this month. And anyway, I did a little introductory video for everyone, just introducing myself and who I am and what I do. But in case you don't get a chance to do that, I do two readings. I do a love reading and then follow that with just a general reading for the month. So, so that's what I do. So I'm going to start with the love reading. I do 9-card spreads, and I talk a little bit more about that in my intro video as well. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I've been shuffling the cards, but I always like to shuffle the cards on camera and draw them out in front of you so you know it's a spontaneous, legitimate reading. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this for a few minutes, and then when I feel ready, I'll do the draw. This is for Leo. This is your love focused reading for November 2015. That was a clumsy shuffle. Okay. Okay, here we go. High Priestess, your Wheel of Fortune, 3 of Cups, your King of Wands, Chariot, Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, and your 6 of Cups. Okay, sorry, I had to stop my camera for just 1 second and just take care of something, so sorry about that. But anyway, so these are your cards. And let's go ahead and get started. Give me just a minute to put the story together. Well, right off the bat, it seems to me like you are facing, some sort of opposing forces. That there are two prominent energies that appear or come into your life. You have your King of Wands and your Knight of Swords, which is very interesting because these energies also came up in the Cancer reading as well. You have your King of Swords, or I'm sorry, your King of Wands, that's, very often indicative of a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. Strong personality, a visionary, sort of symbolizes the ultimate in transformation and personal growth. And then you have your Knight of Swords, which could be an air sign, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. I always forget those. Maybe not as mature of an energy as the King of Wands, perhaps someone that's quite hasty, or jumps into things without really thinking things through, sort of forces himself into maybe not so ideal types of situations. The Chariot, the sign of opposing forces and dualities. You have the two beasts pulling in opposite directions. Could be, almost indicative of let me just think for a moment. I mean, it's very clear that you are being torn between these two energies. You have your High Priestess here, which, is that very still, small voice, almost, in your subconscious, that is your intuition. It's following your gut. And, you might not always understand it. You might not always have all the information, but yet somehow your gut, your heart always knows what is right and always knows which way to go. And, right next to that, you have your Wheel of Fortune. It's, sort of what goes around comes around, the card of karma. If you have been doing good things for for people, then good things will come back to you. And you're finally maybe getting what you deserve in a good way or a bad way. That can go either way. But it seems, if you follow your heart and follow your intuition and listen to that, and don't suppress it in any way, because if you do, or if you try to talk yourself into one thing or thinking something, then it's not going to be, the ideal outcome, if you will. And I'm going to actually jump down here, because you have your two, the High Priestess is the number 2, and you also have a 2 of Wands here, which, is you holding the world in your hands. It's you looking out over your kingdom, and you have 2 blossoming wands here, wands indicative of your passions, your enthusiasm. It's your attitude toward life. It's going forward and taking the next step. This card to me often represents independence, which is interesting, because this is your love reading, and I'm just I am getting a sense of independence because this card is present here, and because of the High Priestess as well. The High Priestess is you. It's your own internal barometer for what's going on, and there's no external forces that can really make you they can't control your intuition. That's you, and this is you here, alone, not lonely, but alone, and looking out over your world, or over your kingdom, and taking that next step, that next journey, I guess, if you will. and it's following your heart for a new passion, a new pursuit, a new path. But also being very confident and happy and satisfied with what you do have as well. Um, I'm going to move up here to this Three of Cups. You know, this is some sort of a celebration, bringing in the new season, which kind of makes sense sitting right next to the Wheel of Fortune, which is, you know, the turn of a wheel, the new cycle, the new, I don't want to call it maybe a new beginning. That might be a little bit dramatic for what this necessarily might be celebrating, but it seems like you are entering a new phase of your life. And I do see people in this reading, you know, you here are alone, but there are other energies present in this reading. And you know, it seems like it might even be a very social month for you. And, you know, it's possible these two, I'm actually having a difficult time with these two energies here. It seems like it could go one of two ways for me. I'm being torn between whether or not these energies are both you, and you are sort of, you know, like 1 minute you're this way and another minute you're that way. You know, the things that maybe these two cards actually do have in common is like quick action, you know, moving into that one direction. You know, even these two cards are both looking in the same direction. You know, they're both headed that way. This one might be a little bit more quick to action because it's, you know, it is a very active card, whereas this one is more contemplating the next step, the next pathway to take, the next, you know, whatever have you. I'm torn between whether it's representing that or if it's representing external energies, you know, two separate people that you are being drawn toward, that you know, maybe can't really decide. And I do see someone, you know, here, this King of Pentacles, which might be someone that came, you know, someone that you know from the past, someone that, you know, there maybe have been a childhood together, or you're connected somehow through time, you know, times that you remember fondly, I guess, if you will, times of innocence, times of, you know, when things were more simple, when you were at a point in your life where there were endless possibilities and you were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and moving forward, and you were so happy to just be alive. And this person maybe has evolved into this very, you know, you have your King of Wands here and your King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is a very sturdy, very successful type of person who might be nurturing, yes, but very business-like, maybe a little bit entrepreneurial. Very, here comes my cat. I'm so sorry. She was at the vet and she had to get some stitches, so she's wearing her hood now, and my dog's all worried about her, so Anyway, you're going to see my animals here in a second. So this is a very strong presence. And I'm wondering, actually, if this time of innocence, this childhood, times of nostalgia, if you will, are sort of, you're being maybe overwhelmed or not overcoming, but they're causing a wave in your life a little bit, and it's causing you to stand from afar and look at your world a little bit. And even in the placement of the cards themselves, okay, here. Here's you. I do see that this is your energy, and okay. Okay. And you are looking out over this person. This person might be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. It doesn't have to be. It could be someone that just possesses those qualities at this point in time, where they have that, one of those signs in another planet or something. But I mean, even see when we read tarot cards, you look for all sorts of different symbols and what ties cards together. And here, you have two circles, two spheres, you are looking out over your world, and he is looking out over his world. And somehow those worlds bring you together. You're both looking at each other. You're at the same, you might be both remembering those times of innocence, those times of childlike wonder and happiness. Yeah, the more I look at this, I do feel like you are being split somehow, that you are going, behaving one way. This might be a little bit more in your nature because this is a fire sign, Leo. But for some reason, you might be drawn toward this type of action, this type of haste, this type of maybe decision making. You might not be making the best decisions right now. You might not really be thinking things through. And in matters of the heart, it could mean you jumping into something, even though that might not be in your nature, even though you know in your heart that that's not really the right choice or the right way. You're not following your intuition. In fact, you're kind of doing the opposite. That you're just bolting forward without consideration of the consequences. And sorry, Mike. Let's see if I can. Too many animals around here. If I'm not seeing really a difference if you're in a relationship or if you're not, I mean, this could be someone that you're dating, someone that you're in a relationship with, or someone that comes into your life or comes back into your life. Maybe you're having a period of reminiscing with an old friend or something, and a love interest does maybe spark. But I do sense and it's interesting, here you have your chariot pulling you in two different directions, and yet you have a 2 card. Here, hold on. I need to fix my pet situation. Okay, come on, babe. I know. She's probably going to just go back there, but I'll see if I can move her for a second. Okay. You know, so you have the opposing forces, like I was saying, pulling you in these directions. You know, you're behaving this way. This is how you really are, but for some reason you're behaving this way. And, you know, here you have your 2 that's even like, okay, just don't sit on the cards. They like it when I read these cards. For some reason they, come here, stinkers. Come on. They're drawn to them. Come on. Okay. There we go. And 2s are often, you know, weighing, you know, these cards are even really similar. You know, you have the 2 pillars here and you have your 2 wands here. She's holding down the moon. You're holding the world. You know, it's kind of like here's your third eye. It is your intuition. You know, and those sort of the 2s, the choices, the times when for some reason you know what's best, and for some reason there are too many reasons not to follow that. But again, if you don't, what goes around comes around. You know, if you don't do what you feel is best, if you don't make choices that feel right, it's going to come back around and you're going to have to learn that lesson again. So in a love context, I'm not seeing, you know, you necessarily being approached, you know, something really romantic happening, but I am seeing maybe a reconnection with someone, someone prominent coming back into your life, and you are connected, you are looking toward each other, and there is some sort of revisiting or reliving the times of the past, the good times. And, you know, it could be this card, you know, it could be because of some sort of social event or some sort of, you know, physical gathering that you 2 are both happen to be at, or something that brings you guys together. Okay, so I'm gonna pull one last card, and this, you know, they call it, or like, sorry, I call it the outcome card, but it's also more of like a summing it up card that tends to help reinforce some of the concepts or to help supplement some of the concepts where information was lacking. Oh, the King of Cups. You have three kings in here. My goodness. So many prominent energies. I so many kings. Okay, well, I don't know why. So many dualities in this, it's you being pulled, and this is why the Chariot is in the center of the reading, because it's literally tearing the reading apart. You have your internal opposing personality, kind of like a split personality. You're doing it this way, but that's not true to your nature. It's not quite who you are. You're this, but you're behaving that way. And then you have, your twos, your high priestess, your intuition, helping you to follow your heart. In the main reading, you had, your energy and your focus was very much toward this King of Pentacles here, and now you have another king coming up, the King of Cups, which is, often a very, a love interest, a romance, a potential life partner, someone that you could and might care for very, very deeply. And that comes up, at the end of the reading. I feel like maybe, if you just kind of put them together, you are looking towards this person, he is looking towards you, and you have this new, I'm wondering if if this man or this person, man or woman, is in the beginning at some point um, starts off maybe a little bit just as a reconnection, an acquaintance, an initial attraction, but then very quickly becomes this King of Cups, someone who is offering you his heart, someone who is offering you a life and emotional fulfillment and happiness and dream. Normally these cards don't represent people. It's more just an energy or an internal, what have you. But I'm just very much picking up that this is you here, you here as the King of Wands even. You put them together, you put the kings side by side, and you still have your King of Wands still looking at the King of Pentacles. You are not looking at the King of Cups unless I move him here, unless I move him. And then they're both looking at you, and you're looking at both of them. It could be, the same, this is one person, one person that starts off as one thing and then quickly evolves into something else, and something quite lovely, quite wonderful, something that's, started off a little bit cold, or not cold, but a little bit just high level, high surface, and you're just simply reconnecting based on something, a past experience that you shared, and becomes, a very significant potential love interest for the future. And, I'm thinking maybe it's important for you to kind of work out this internal, like this clash, whatever it is that's happening here with you. doing things that you know aren't necessarily the right things, because it could block or distract or be too strong for this connection to happen. You know, I feel like there will be some event or some gathering or a place where you should be, and if you're not there, then it's possible that this connection might not happen. And if you're not even there necessarily mentally, and if you're not, and if you're behaving this way and making rash decisions and doing things, you know, a knight is not a king. He's at a lower level. He's a lower level of emotional maturity, a lower level of understanding, of experience. And if you're behaving this way, it's sort of like an adolescent type of way. You could very quickly disinterest these kings, who you are a king as well. You are, but you don't want to put off, you know, these amazing energies, this amazing person, by acting so like so rash, so childish. Because this is very subtle. This is a very subtle subtle energies. You need to be quiet. It needs to come from a small, like a very still place, a very calming. You need to be able to listen to your intuition. You need to be able to pay attention to that. This king would pay attention. This king understands that. This knight does not. So anyway, I think that's it for the reading. I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera and shuffle, and then I'm going to do your general for November. Okay, Leo, I've been shuffling these cards for several minutes. Like I said, I'll continue to shuffle a little bit longer. So this will be for your November 2015, just general focus. More, and then I think we're done. Okay, here we go. November 2015 general focus for Leo. 4 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Empress, the Page of Swords, Page of Wands, Justice, the Hanged Man, and the Ace of Swords. Well, it seems to me like you're going to go through a period of re-evaluation. That you're going to look at the world from all angles, or a situation from all angles, and even, turn the world upside down to look at it from, giving yourself new perspectives. That's placed, one, two, three, four. This is placed directly after the Justice card. And these, to me, these cards are very similar. They go kind of hand in hand. I mean, not really, but kind of. So the Justice card, again, is like looking at the world from every angle, looking at a situation, gathering all the information that you can, and so gathering all the information that you can and making decisions as rightfully as you can, and weighing all options. She has a scale here, weighing all the options, ensuring balance, making decisions that is best for everyone and that makes everything, puts everything at equilibrium, if you will. So that type of idea, alongside looking at the world from new perspectives, seems to me like there's going to be, this is almost like another love reading, to be honest with you. I feel like the Emperor and the Empress, I mean, these are the, I don't know what to call it, a match made in heaven, if you will. A very just meant to be type of couple almost. I feel like people are very prominent in your life, and in your life in November. And I feel, I'm not getting anything to do with work. I'm not getting anything to do with health or family, or I do feel like this is more of a personal, emotional, maybe romantic, general reading. So maybe reinforcing a little bit the concepts in the love reading. And let me see here. The last reading you had, the opposing forces, the Chariot, men, or the Kings. I'm a woman, so I think men, but it could be women as well if you're a man, or whatever the preference. I am kind of seeing a similar duality for you in this reading as well. The Page of Swords and the Page of Wands, two very distinct personalities, two very distinct, but even less, than the Knight of Swords that you had, and less than the King of Swords that you had, or King of Wands that you had. A very childlike wonder, very curious. This one is very swift and fast moving. It's the one that runs the errands, and literally runs the errands, and does the chores as quickly as he can, just so that he can go out and play as soon as he's done.